another segment from the dog world. We oftentimes talk about, when you go to a dog show, people talk about what structure and type is. And in today's world, it seems that a lot of the understanding of structure and type stuff is being lost, okay? People do a lot of training, they do a lot of presentation, and they do a lot of informative information, but a lot of it's being lost as far as reading a standard and understanding what the standard is talking about, listening to what they talk about, evaluating the head being the largest percentage of the animal. One of the questions that I have as people are doing this education process is, keep in mind that when you tell another person that the head is the most important part of the breed, that the head on a dog will not cause elbow surgery, bad feet, bad hips, but look at more of the structure. Yep, you want to make sure that you look at the phenotype of the animal, but the number one important part is structure movement. When you look at structure, the structure starts from, the structure of the animal starts from the paw up. When you look at the paw, if the dog has a good paw that's not splayed, not laid back on it, what that does is this animal has a shock absorber. This is a shock absorber for their movement in the ground. The shock absorber comes up into the shoulder. That protects their animal when they move. Then if you look at the top line, a nice steady top line gives the ability for longevity of the animal. If you look at if it's a breed dog or a female that's going to be bred, a good strong top line. When you look at the rear angles, people are looking at dogs that have good or straight legs and they think that's correct. It's not. If you look at an animal in the wild that survived, you look at the wolf, you look at the rear angle of the leg. This is a shock absorber so that the animal can move and turn. If the animals are blowing cruciates and tendons and knees, that's because they're having bad structure. It has nothing to do with poor breeding, it has nothing to do with people not doing what they're supposed to do. It just has to do with the understanding of what the animal is designed to do for and what they're bred to do. You look at the agility of this animal. You look at her ability to move, okay? Her ability to jump, have fun. The reason why that is because she has good structure, okay? Structure equals good movement. Okay? Good structure equals endurance. Good structure equals the decreasing the ability to having surgeries in your dog. So when a person's looking at a pedigree, you want to look at the pedigree as in genotype, not just phenotype. Phenotype is the outward appearance. Genotype is the structure underneath. So the only way to determine structure underneath the dog is to look at the lineage behind the animal and go, how many dogs had hip dysplasia? How many dogs had bad elbows? How many dogs had splayed feet? How many dogs had terrible top lines? That's how you evaluate your dog and your selection and your breeding program. You don't just look at, oh, this dog's got a gorgeous head. This dog's got a gorgeous coat. This dog's got a tip of white on its tail. Those are great pieces of the puzzle of a overall pleasant look, but it has nothing to do with the structure. Well, it does have a little bit to do with the structure, but the damage that's being done from breeder to breeder to breeder is isolating phenotypic ideas. The isolation of a phenotypic ideal destroys what you're looking at in your animal. You have to look at the structure. You have to look at from the paw all the way up to the shoulder that it's correct. You have to look at the top line, because bad top lines that have a dip or sway behind the seventh because somebody says it has to have a dip in the top line, that's not correct. It's supposed to be level the top line because the vertebrae that are off in the top line are bad vertebrae. And if you've ever had a back problem, a slip disc, you understand the difference. It decreases the longevity of the animal, and the understanding of structure is the part that's important. Now when you look at the overall structure, when a person sets up a dog, feet, elbows, shoulder, top line, hip, knee, withers. Okay. Work your way up, across, down, angle, down, down. The reason why you're doing that is you're developing the proper structure of your animal. If it's straight back here, hip and knee problems. If it's straight up here, shoulder problems. You're going to have the problems with the animal. Then you look at dentia, okay? A good bite for the breed. It's extremely important because most of the time when people will talk about heads and bites, well, if the dog has a bad bite, I guarantee it'll survive because it can chew its food. So people get caught up in certain things that honest to goodness, they don't cost them money. But if you have bad shoulders, bad knees, bad